Today I'm out in the shop doing a lawn tractor seat repair. Now I'm doing it on my 2005 Cub Cadet with about 221 hours on it. And the seat really looks pretty good with the exception of this large crack that's in the right side. You can tell overall there's no other cracks in it and it's weathered really good. I store it inside when it's not in use, and this crack has continued to propagate all the way across the shoulder here, and it's starting to tear a little bit here, and so I'm going to use Plasti Dip and attempt to repair. I'm going to use some 120 grit sandpaper to clean up around the area and give it a good surface to adhere to. Then I'm going to use some denatured alcohol to clean it up to make sure that it's contaminant free around the area. I'm just going to use a paper towel with a denatured alcohol. You could also use rubbing alcohol. And then of course the Plasti Dip with a cheap brush. And I think I'm going to tune up that brush a little bit. It's a cheap throwaway brush, but I think I'll tune it up a little bit so it gets in the crevice a little more. But yeah, I'm using Plasti Dip. It's a multi-purpose rubber coating, and it's for coating tools, but it's also for automotive, hobby and craft, and home and garden. See, home and garden. It is for lawn tractors. And it says wait 4 hours to reapply, or 4 hours until it's completely dry. And there's some other instructions. Use inadequate ventilation. So I'm out here in the shop where I have plenty of ventilation. I'm going to start with that 120 grit sandpaper, and I'm just going to go around on the just near the crack and clean that up. And I'm going to go all the way down into that groove. It's not quite cracked all the way down there, but I'm going to go a little bit beyond the crack in hopes of keeping it from cracking anymore. And I really would like to have just a clean seam right there, but really it's more ideal to go out onto the vinyl here so that it sticks a little better, so it doesn't come out of that crack. I'm going to continue to clean that up. So I don't know if you can see that, but it's torn down here on the bottom. So I'm trying to clean on the inside of that. I'm going to force the Plasti Dip down inside that and hope that'll rebond into here. If not, it's down here, so I'll just let it be fat right there if it needs to be. But I hope the Plasti Dip will stick in there. I'm going to hit that with just a little compressed air. And a little bit of denatured alcohol. And I don't think, besides drying it off and cleaning it, I don't think that's going to hurt the vinyl at all. So I could probably clean the whole seat with it. It's going to clean all that, any grease or waxes off of there. Give it a better clean finish. And blow it off one more time. And like I said, I'm going to tune up that brush a little bit by making the bristles just a little bit stiffer by shortening them. and a little bit of a haircut. Yeah, that's good. Clean it up just a little bit. Make it a little stiffer. And the Plasti Dip says the surface must be clean and dry for best results. Avoid direct sunlight, high humidity, or breezy conditions. Stir gently and thoroughly before each use. Coat, seals, protects. Color codes: metal, wood, glass, rubber, concrete, fabric, fiberglass, and rope. Then it tells you how to dip it, and then other tips. And of course I chose black. If you have a John Deere with a yellow seat, Plasti Dip yellow isn't quite right, but you can add just a little bit of white to it to lighten it up, and it produces a pretty good match for that seat. So I'm going to pull that joint apart and work this down in there as far as I can. So hopefully it'll be like caulk and it will bond to each other, help hold it in so it doesn't come out away from the joint. Looks like the foam is sucking it up pretty good. And if some come squirting back out, that's all the better, I would say. Yeah, that's gonna come squirting back out. That's good. I want a lot of it so I can wipe it back off if it does squirt out too much. But I want to make sure it's forced down in there and it's absorbed by the foam, both top and bottom. Looks like it's going into the bottom very good. I'm trying to force it up into the top. And let's see, yeah, it's gonna come squeezing out just a little bit. I like to do it in one big heavy coat if I can, and so it bonds to each other really good. But if I need to come back later, if it shrinks a little bit, then I will put another coat on after 4 hours. The first pass of that makes a a rough joint. I think I'll come back and put a second coat on it and see what it looks like in a few hours. Plasti Dip forms the skin pretty fast, and this I guess I can wipe it off, see if I can get another use out of this little brush. If not, we'll start over with a new one. It hasn't been quite 4 hours, but it's drying to a nice matte finish. So I think I'm going to put another coat on. I'd like to fill up this crack a little better than that. All right, for the third coat, I selected another brush and trimmed it up a little bit, but not quite as much as the first, so that I can use it more like a paintbrush instead of getting it down in that groove, so I can try to get a smoother finish. With this Plasti Dip, I've got a feeling it's either use it or lose it. It seems like it's getting a skin on it. Once you've opened this can, you've got to use it. This is coat number 4. Or application number 4, rather. I'm attempting to make a smoother joint. Hopefully the added coat will add strength to the joint too. It's ending up looking a little bit like the liquid electrical tape. After the 4th coat, that looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. It looks pretty smooth. It's a little rough down here on the bottom, but that's okay because that flap was stuck way out before, and now it's glued itself back down. And you can definitely see where the seam is at here, but overall, I'm pretty happy with that. Give you a close-up view of it with the camera here. Kind of looks like that liquid electrical tape that I was talking about earlier. But that's it. We'll have to see how it holds up over time. At least I hope it keeps it from getting any bigger and gets from getting water inside and doing any more damage. Well, that concludes the video. I hope that you found it useful, and if you did, let me know in the comments, and please subscribe.